First of all, I'll say I was born in Newcastle, still live here, and until recently, I was a season ticket holder at Newcastle United. Used to go to all the games with my father. I've done that for nearly all of my life. In terms of Newcastle itself, there's only one professional club here. There's a stadium right in the city centre, and the club is pretty much right at the centre of city life as well. You're never far away from a conversation about Newcastle United. So when the Saudi regime took over the club, they didn't really just acquire a sports team, but they kind of wove themselves into the city's fabric in a way that a normal business wouldn't be able to. So what I'll focus on is what makes Saudi investment in Newcastle United different to maybe other investments in sport they've made, and I'll also talk about the reactions has been from myself, supporters, and local politicians a bit as well. So there's at least three things that I think are pretty noteworthy about the Newcastle United takeover that maybe you wouldn't see in other sporting investments that Saudi Arabia made. And first of all, it wasn't their idea. It was the idea to take over the club was pitched to them by an English businesswoman called Amanda Staveley, who'd been trying to put together a takeover for some time in the English Premier League. And she's now the 10% owner, and she is fronts the takeover. She kind of does most of the media work, the vast majority of it, whereas the Saudi Public Investment Fund own 80% of the club. And they're relatively silent in comparison. We don't hear much from them at all. And the other thing, one of the other things which I think is pretty notable was the amount of time it took to complete the takeover. It was first mooted as a serious possibility in January 2020, and it was only finally completed in October 2021. And the obstacle which the Saudi state faced was they were pirating TV broadcast Premier League from Qatar. They were taking that illegally and broadcasting it through pirate television stations. I think that's pretty much the only thing that could have prevented the Premier League made the Premier League hesitate to approve the deal. And at one point, it would look like it was going to be blocked altogether. Now, at this point, Amanda Staveley sent a message to supporters. She claimed there's enormous investment ready to be made, not just in the football club itself, but also in infrastructure projects in the city. And she implored Newcastle United fans to go and ask the Premier League to approve the deal. And the fans pressured local politicians right across the region, who in turn petitioned the Premier League and the UK government. And this is a third thing which I think is quite unusual about the Newcastle takeover is this is actually a fan-led campaign, or which is a fairly enormous campaign locally, which sustained itself for 20 months, begging for state ownership, which is something I don't really think is often been seen in other places. And even now, fans and politicians in Newcastle claim the takeover was something inflicted on us. There's nothing we could have done about it. And it just isn't true. If we campaigned against the takeover with just a fraction of the energy we campaigned for it, I don't think it would have happened. I don't think Saudi Arabia responds very well to dissent. And if they thought fans were hostile as well as the Premier League, I don't think it would have gone ahead. So it did go ahead. This is where we are now. It has been completed. And I'd say the impact on both fans and the city has been pretty enormous. There's now an insatiable demand for, well, appetite for Saudi money being poured into Newcastle United by fans. They used to be, and they're strongly in favour of Saudi-based sponsors, because this will make more money available for players. This is some contrast to elsewhere in Europe where fans organise to oppose sponsorship deals like this. And it's a contrast with Newcastle United fans in the past who have campaigned against